Hello everybody. My name is Alckemy. Welcome to the channel. Today, you and I are going to be taking a walk through my latest and greatest preset pack that I've made for Ableton Live 12. I'm going to quickly share with the Discord that I'm live because this is going to be live streamed. That's just how I like to do things in case if people are wondering or have questions or something that I can cover. But excuse me, yeah, I put a ton of work into this and I'm happy that it's finally done. So if you know my channel, you know that I create these crazy racks that pretty much do everything. They kind of make basses for you, they make percussions, they make pads, plugs, different atmospheres, and this expression is through the means of Ableton Live 12. So if I play a sound, it's going to start off as usually just some kind of respace. If I turn the bass knob on, then we have some kind of filtering system that works. If I play with the transposition, then it'll kind of be pitched up and down and create movement. Now if I turn on the percussion knob, it's going to create percussion. And then these two are in tandem with the atmospheres here because this will change the ADSR of the, I guess, instruments into either a pad or a pluck. So, and with this, we have 3 different atmospheres that we can choose from, as you can see, that are available. And what's cool about this is that I wanted to kind of go the extra mile with this and have a bunch of different selections and stuff that you could utilize, especially since there are some shortcomings that I could not pull off in, say, like Bitwig or Faceplant. But this is pretty much one single preset that has 3 different selections of different racks available. And the coolest thing about all this stuff is that, like my other packs, you can hot swap these. So let's say I have a biomutation, preset on here or whatever. What's awesome is I can click on this little thing right here that says hot swap and open this up and go into the effect racks. And I can say, okay, I want to swap the biomutant with a different Atmos. And I can just double click. And now you'll see that this has been swapped. And we can just turn on the Atmos rack and it will work, which is really cool. So there's like a nice modularity to it. And with that, you can pretty much build your own presets with these racks that I have available. And also you have this little thing that right here that's a synth versus samp. So if you want to switch this over into let me get out of the hot swap. If you want to switch this over into a granulator, then you can do that. And that's pretty neat. And so utilizing this and playing between all of the different macros will give you something unique just about every time you hit a key. And the workflow with this, if you haven't seen it before, is by utilization of rolling sampler or some kind of resampling channel. So what I would normally do is grab my most important thing that I've probably ever purchased, which is this guy. And what we can do is just play something here. Let's go ahead and add in some kind of movement. Hey, Jazz. Maybe make it a little plucky. Switch between a different Atmo here. And then what I might want to do is grab some kind of atmosphere by combining the Atmos with the percussion. Now when I come back to main, you'll see that I've captured all of this stuff right here, and we've got a bunch of different kind of ambient phrases and whatnot that we can combine in tandem to start building phrases with, or to utilize for further resampling, or to start using as just pretty much anything that you might want to do. Now the other thing that is really important with this is, just like how I've made with Snap Heap and Multipass and Bitwig and all the other stuff, is that you can actually isolate these racks if you want to, so you don't have to use them all together. And that's part of like the Lego part of it, or maybe even like Voltron or a Megazord or something, where you can combine these parts, because I can just take, say, a different Atmos thing, like let's say I want to use proof of concept Atmo, and just apply that specific rack onto this. And this has a mix here that we can utilize. So by changing this and playing, we can continue to resample this and continue to stack different stuff on here. And if you're really crazy, then you can do like multiple things to where now we're getting into combining different stuff. Say maybe we add a saturator at the end with an audio effect rack, turn the clipping on, that would be good. And we can start to play within this world of sound design sculpting, which to me is just freaking awesome. Hey, NX, what's up? Like, how cool is that? So as you can see, there's a ton of modularity to this and like a ton of rabbit hole sound design that you don't have to go very far to start putting together. And this is valuable to me because of the way that I work, the way that I've been taught by my mentors and all that other stuff. But as a means of quickly collecting sounds in which to start throwing together, this is meant to be a jump start. I will say right off the bat, this isn't necessarily something that is going to be 100% like ready to go and you're just going to drop it into your track. This is more of something to get lost in, especially if you are someone that likes to tinker or someone that likes to have a means of inspiration. But as opposed to just having one single sound, it's going to work for you to give you access to a bunch of different things that you can later sculpt. And that's just the way that I like to work, and that's why I make packs like this. Usually I do everything from scratch anyways, but by the combination of these racks put together, you can create stuff that you've probably never thought of before. At least I've made countless things that I could never I never would have been like, oh, I should do this and come up with this result with intention. So with that, all of these racks on here that I have as presets are default to wavetable. Hey ISO. So what that means is that all of the regular instruments that are provided within here are, where is this? Are wavetable instruments. And the reason why is because I have a couple of stuff right here that's set to like transposition. And then also I do think that wavetable is probably the most diverse synth that you could utilize. However, I did also include templates for the other major synthesizers. So for example, I have one for drift, meld, operator, sampler, simpler, wavetable, and then just a miscellaneous one. And the reason why is because let's say you wanted to utilize this rack and have everything work together on the other instruments. Well, I've made it possible that you can start to build a preset or build this rack without having to, make this stuff yourself. And so it's kind of nice because that way within all of this, we can just focus on, creating a preset like this or whatever with what we have here. And you can even pull up your own presets or whatever and just swap that out. And then because we have the racks here, I can utilize this to start to create my own versions of this. So again, if I wanted to swap this into a neuro-based thing, I'd go into my audio effects and go into the effect racks and go into neuro and then switch this out for cursed crystals. And then as you'll see, if I were to play a sound, this will be still mapped to the macro here. So let me turn this on. So even though this is just a simple sound, you can hear the distortion and movement that's coming within this. So let's go ahead and change this to dual shapes. And set a limit on this. And so now that we have, just some kind of Reese or whatever, it's already out. It's on the website. We can turn the bass thing on. I am a Bitwig guy, but I make presets for everybody. No worries. So, but yeah, like I said, with this as well, then what we can do is create our own thing with this to be like, yo, I'm going to swap this out for a percussion rack. So we go back in this and then we say, okay, Well, let's try skeleton cave percussion. And then let's just go ahead and wrap this with doing the Atmo, kind of like this. And so we can go here and go back into our user library and then open up an Atmo and then use a completely different one, say Blooper Duper. Disregard the names, it was just what I was feeling whenever I was doing my thing. But as you can see now, this is a fully fledged patch that is utilizing, instead of the wavetable, meld. And then we also have that for the other instruments in case if you like working with something else. Or you can hot swap this here. The thing is that if you hot swap the instrument on this, you will lose the transposition. I think everything else should be intact, and I believe that the mapping and the chain selection and whatnot should all still work. But I just think that it's easier to just pull up the instrument rack that I've included, so that way you don't have to do any kind of finagling or whatever. But yeah, so with that, I've also included all of the Serum presets and wavetables that I used. So unfortunately, for whatever reason, Wavetable in Ableton can only use or only import wavetables from Serum, and I don't know why that is. I've tried to utilize Phaseplant, but because I did that, I wanted to kind of give you just, you know what I mean, anything and everything to customize whatever it is that you want to do. So if you are working within Wavetable or something and you have Serum, then you can pull up these patches that I have. I almost never use this, so all of these are pretty much the only things that I've used. So these are, I guess, quote-unquote extra bass sounds. And so what I've done is open this up, move this, exported the wavetable, and then imported this into, gosh, sorry to be redundant, but wavetable into these guys. So that way you could utilize that. And then also I've included the samples that I am using for the granular synth, which I use Phaseplant to make those, so that's why I didn't include the Phaseplant patches. Actually, I just used one Phaseplant patch and started making different amalgamations, which was really cool. But all of these are kind of physical modeled based, to some degree anyways. And so if you switch the synth to this over on the side, then you're going to get, all this is tuned to C, so you don't have to worry about retuning it. But let me go ahead and hit that back on this guy. And we've got some really nice sounds that we can utilize. Now keep in mind too that you can also get down and dirty with a lot of the stuff within the granular synth. So I don't have these mapped to macros because honestly setting this up was a pain in the ass. Like, just to be 100% transparent, this was such a not fun experience to put together, but I'm glad that I stuck with it and I came out with a product that I'm pretty happy with. But just remember that you can change all of the settings within here. The transposition is mapped, of course. You can move the variation, the spread, and change all of the things, filters and whatnot within this. But between that and getting into this of you can just get some really nice sounds. Then you can do a mix between both as well if you want. You change that into a pad. As you can see, whenever I move this, you can see that these two kind of adjust, and then also the same thing with the pluck. So if you want to manipulate that, then you can go back in there. And again, one of the coolest things about this perhaps is that I don't have any mapped because it's on the meld thing, but what I can do is just hit random on these a couple of times and be like, okay, well, let's see what that sounds like. Now, for whatever reason, if this sounds cool on paper, but maybe the pitch is off, then you can just set the transposition back to where it needs to be. So then we can go new, go random, and let's see what that sounds like. And then you can adjust it as well. So we can go here. Obviously with the pad and pluck, you can set these to lock if you want to. There's a setting on here that I think that you can go exclude macro from randomization and variation. You could also do that with the pitch. So we could go like that. That way this will be the same every time. But within this stuff, between these three guys and even these guys, we're going to get something unique. Yeah. So, yeah, as you can tell, like there's just a ton of stuff that is very accessible once you kind of know the way to work around this. And then of course, like what you can do is you can go right click and then rename this and save this as a new preset or whatever. But essentially this is going to give you a lot of the building blocks and foundations in which to like just make cool stuff, because that's what it's all about, right? Is being able to have access to lots of really cool organic sounds immediately, as opposed to, you know, having a bunch of patches that do one thing. And that's just my philosophy anyways, and not to knock on anybody else, but that's kind of how I prefer to do stuff. But since we kind of have an understanding of what goes on now, let's go ahead and kind of just shop through. I don't want to show you all of them. I don't have any reservations in particular, but I want you to kind of just understand how the presets and how my philosophy works. And then I want you to be able to kind of like have that sense of discovery and exploration, even though you're still going to get different stuff than what I'm playing. So, and that's kind of the cool thing, is that whatever it is that I'm showing you, you're going to get similar things, but the expression is never going to be the same because of the randomization. So yeah, this is Biomutant. Let me make sure that this is doing what it needs to do. This is the the granular sample, so we can kind of create a pad out of this and maybe start with the Atmos. Switch over to this the synth. Maybe we'll change this into a pluck. Let's do a mix of both the sampler and the synth. We can change the position of the wavetable and the sampler. I'm going to back off of that, switch to the synth. Let's check out the bass. You can check out the percussion. Then we can kind of go through some of these and just randomly snap some of this. And this is like where you get the wild shit, because I don't even know how to describe this. I'm pretty sure that's why I called this biomutation. Okay, like, is that not like wild as heck? Is it usable? I don't know, but is it cool? Like, I think so. So yeah, that was one patch, and there's 10 of these. I'm pretty excited about this, and I think that anybody that owns Ableton Live 12 is going to be excited about it as well. The other thing that I did not do with this is use any other Max for Live device besides what was originally included in the suite. So I did use, we just joined to get these, or are they buy for sale? These are for sale on my website at alckemy.com. Yeah, so what's it called? I've only used LFOs and also the Granulator 3. So provided that you have those, I would say the Ableton Live Suite or whatever, because I know that there's a bunch of really awesome Max for Live devices. And you know, I can only wonder what kind of stuff I could do if I were to actually use those, but I wanted this to be as usable as possible right out the jump. So that way you don't have to install anything extra. You don't have to worry about, you know, is this compatible? Is this going to work? So yeah, I think that there's just a huge range of tunes, or sorry, a huge range of sounds that you have access to that you can utilize in so many different kinds of genres, and have a great time exploring. But I can't really stress this enough. This isn't just effect racks. It's not just, you know, this does this effect or whatever. It's something that you're really meant to combine these in tandem to start creating these different possibilities. And I've provided a playground for you that you can mix and match and switch up, or you can, you know, get down and dirty if you really want to and be like, hey, I want to redo this percussion thing, or I want to redo this neurobase filter and start doing my own stuff. Or if you're curious about how I get a lot of sound design and you just want to dissect this stuff and be like, how does Alckemy make neurobase in Ableton with just live effects? Like, here it is. These are the blueprints for you that you can utilize. So yeah, the actual setup of this, it gets pretty messy, so I wouldn't really recommend trying to like get down and dirty with the modulation per se, because everything is nested within instrument racks and instrument racks and instrument racks and instrument racks, and unfortunately that's just something that you have to accept within Ableton. I mean, if you know what you're doing, of course, by all means, or you know, do what you want, you know, have fun, get jiggy with it, and just save a copy or something. Just don't overwrite the originals or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's there's a lot. There is definitely a lot, and like I said, we only really explored one patch and then we made another, but I haven't really tested out the other templates. I just wanted to make stuff on here that you could utilize within these. I avoided the physical modeling ones because I didn't think that they would be that diverse. But yeah, you know, if you want to throw a drum rack in here, or you want to use like crazy ass glitches and stuff, that could be freaking cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. As opposed to going through the other presets, let's just build another one, and that could be really fun. So what I'll do is I'll go to the skeleton rack within Simpler. And within the Simpler, what we'll do is we'll set this here, and drag this in. And now that we have this, it's a bunch of different stuff, so it's not really entirely in key and whatnot, but what's really cool is that we could set this to like slice mode, set it to gate, slice by transient, region, sure, set the playback to through, and then we can also change the warp mode of this, which is really cool. So we can set this to like texture or something, right, and move the grain size and modulate the pitch, or like do all different kinds of stuff on here to make this just super wonky. You don't even have to use bases per se. But now that we have something like that, hey Arl, we can get into this and turn that on. Now let me move this over to this side. There we go. Let me turn this down. Okay, cool. So now what we can do is let's go ahead and fire up a Neurobase. And the other thing as well is like I would also get down and dirty with playing with the order of this, because the order I don't think is going to matter whenever you start moving this. So I think that on some patches I have the percussion first and then the Neurobase, but I would prefer to send percussion into Neurobase into the Atmo, just because I find that's how I get the best results. But because of that, we can go hot swap, and then go into the effect racks, go into percussion, and let's fire up proof of concept. So we'll double click there, and now we've got proof of concept, and this should be mapped if I'm not mistaken still, even though I've changed the order. So yep, still works. Awesome. Everything is clipped at the end. It might be wise for you to turn this down just because it's very experimental, and make sure that you have a limiter. So disclaimer. But yeah, so let's go ahead and hot swap into a Neurobase. So we'll go here and fire up a different one. Let's try Ganglion just to have diversity. And then on the Atmos, we'll do the same thing. So we'll go back into the effect racks, and then we'll pull the Atmos up and go into Cursed Crystals. So now we have created our own custom preset in a matter of minutes that are all able to be utilized with the macros here. Like, is this making sense to people? I hope so, man, because like this is cool. At least I think it is. So yeah, one thing that I'm going to add to this is an audio effect. We are going to add a limiter, because limiters are good for us. Where's this at? Limiter. There we go. So we'll move this over to the end, and then we'll just mess with this and see what it does and make cool sounds and stuff. It's already out. It's on the website. So here we go. That's normal. Wow, that's really loud. Let me turn that down. Yep, this is why we do limiters, but so with this, we can, you know, start to change different stuff about this too, right? So changing the warp modes to like Complex Pro, and modifying the formants, and you know, doing all that kind of stuff. We'll set the transposition to like -12 here. Now by default, all of these other Granulator 3s have this thing on here, which is in a different key, but it sounded so nice that I wanted to keep it as an Easter egg. I'll just play it for you because it sounds so good. But Yeah, it's just nice. It's like, you know how like Silent One's default preset is like hella iconic? I kind of feel like, so I just wanted to make sure to include that on all of these, but you can definitely go back into your user library here and go into the sample pack, and then we can just toss a random one in here because this is all tuned to C, so it'll be fine. Ah, oh, dude, that's so cool. So yeah, and then once we have that, we can right click and rename it, and then just drag it into our user library and pull it into the presets here. Instrument rack, I believe. There we go. And then we'll just pull this here, and we can name this demo, and then we can pull that in, and then now we have that. And now you can pull this up at any time. You can create snapshots. We can go random, go new, see what that does. You know what I'm saying? So there's just tons of stuff that we could utilize with that. So anyways, this was going to be a short stream. I kind of just wanted to walk through this because this is what's going to be on available as the demo later. But does anybody have any questions about this pack or anything about what I have going on? Hey, Sad, what's up? I'm excited. I think that most people are going to enjoy this. And then, of course, like I said before, if you combine this with rolling sampler and all that stuff, then you're gonna have tons and tons of ideas. No questions. I'll buy it tomorrow. Awesome. Thank you. And if you don't have Ableton, I have this available in Bitwig and Faceplant as well. And they all have something that's a little bit different, a little bit unique about them, but the approach is the same. And I don't really know what other apparatuses I could do this in. I'm tempted, to be honest. Well, I definitely want it to be something that you're going to find to be valuable, There are some people that support this channel just for supporting me, but I make products for you, and I only would make a product that I would personally use. So I definitely would be like, hey, I need to make sure that you all have value within what it is that you're getting over, hey, check out my new preset pack, it makes womps. You're gonna get 5 presets that are the exact same. Between the 2 DAWs, depending on how I feel that day as well. Yeah, I totally understand. And it's fine. It's not going anywhere. It's a digital product. So I've been flip-flopping between the 2 DAWs. Yeah, I mean, there's a bank for both. So 100% support what you do and 75% what it does. I feel that. I think many people use multiple DAWs. Yeah, so I don't know. This thing is I'm just, to be honest with you all, I'm glad that the sounds of it came out to be really nice. I'm also really glad that I am done with this pack because it took me so long to put together. Whereas like with Faceplant and Bitwig, it was like, oh, you just do this, you just do this, you just do this, and then poof. With this, it was like, oh my gosh. Bruh. It was a lot. Sometimes I'm in a Bitwig mood. Sometimes I'm feeling like Ableton. Sometimes you can use Integrate. Will I continue to make Ableton packs? I don't know. If this does really well, then maybe. I am definitely burnt out on Ableton right now, just because setting this up was a lot of mental gymnastics. But if enough people are interested, then maybe I'll do another one. But let's see how this one does. I just put this one out, so let's see how it fares and see if there's some other cool stuff that I can do. Maybe I can collaborate with somebody that makes Macs for live devices and come up with something unique. But no promises. It's kind of just a matter of like, how do I say this? Because I try to make stuff that I want people to be able to use and appreciate and, find valuable. If it doesn't sell, then I'm not going to keep putting my energy into like trying to create something, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I have sample packs and stuff, and that's not really something that does well, and that's no shade towards anybody, but at the same time, because of that, I don't make sample packs anymore because that's not where my market is. So for this stuff, you know, I don't know how many people in my channel and viewer base are like all within Ableton, but now I have something for everybody for all the things that I advertise anyways. So you got Faceplant, which was the #1, Bitwig, and then now Ableton. My goal is to move to Bitwig someday, but right now I'm really digging Ableton workflow coming from Cubase now. Yeah, and that's why I say, you know, I'm really trying to have something for everybody. You know, I don't think that I could pull this off in Cubase. I don't think that I could pull this. I definitely couldn't pull this off in Logic or, you know, Pro Tools or something. But with these guys, maybe I could do something in Reaper, God forbid. But oh my God, I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm terrified to do that. Oh, that would be a project. I feel like if I were to do that in Reaper, then I would make like 5 presets and then just flipping like just give it away for $5 or something. Imagine doing this in FL Studio. I think it can be done with Patcher. It would look different, but yeah, I think it's possible. Am I going to do it? No, I don't have FL Studio, so that's not going to happen. But hey, Lil Saf, what's up, man? Long time no see. I just do not understand FL Studio anymore at all. Yeah, it's definitely like a rework, you know. I definitely used to watch Seamless do a lot of crazy Patcher stuff back in the day. Yeah, I think he would be a great reference. I think that building the architecture of how I've designed these patches would be the most difficult thing, but as a means of building effect racks, just in general, and like, I don't know, using like a hotkey to just turn them on and off at least, like, yeah, I could probably do that. Am I making presets for live? I'm showcasing, or was showcasing, this preset pack that I just released for live. Yeah, I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm donezo and cooked. All right, so with that, everyone, I appreciate all of your patience and stuff with what's been going on, especially as you all know, like my live schedule has switched around. So I am probably going to be live tomorrow, but my streaming schedule is going to switch from Monday, Wednesday, Friday to Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I will be live tomorrow. Just so you all know. I hope that you don't hate me, but I'm trying to be able to get to the gym 3 times a week, and in order to do that, I need to change my streaming schedule or stream at night. But I don't want to stream at night because that's Corey and I's like quality time, and I value that to keep the family household happy. I would just make sure in the notes that it isn't compatible with older versions. I had to redo my wavetable presets in Live 10. I mean, it says Elegy for Ableton Live 12. So if people don't catch that, I don't know what to tell them. Although I'm sure somebody is going to do that at one point or another. But yeah, I don't know what to do about that. It's for Live 12. I don't know how to be more clear for that. But anyways, so yeah, guys, this is available, and please, if you're anywhere interested in it, feel free to ask me questions on the Discord or anything else of the sort. I definitely want you to be happy with this as every other pack that I come out with, and please give me your feedback. Feel free to leave it in a comment on this stream, or you know, if you buy it and you're jazzed about it, or you make something cool, like send me a link or something. I would like to know, and I hope that you all enjoy this. It's $20. I think it's worth it. It's $20. So there's that. Thank you for your contribution to the producer sphere. You're a gym, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. For the rest of you all, I'll see you tomorrow. Have an awesome rest of your day. I still need to cook my drum and bass submission for our 30-day challenge, so I'm going to do that now. Bye, everybody. Have an awesome rest of your evening. I will see you later.